Yes. Alright. Day 83 of the 1,000-day challenge. Let's get into it. It had 10 courses of dark cyanus, 12 of gold, and 10 of tin. There were serpents of cyanus that reared themselves up towards the neck, 3 upon either side, like the rainbows which the son of Cronus had set in heaven as a sign to mortal men. About his shoulders he threw his sword, studded with bosses of gold, and the scabbard was of silver, with a chain of gold wherewith to hang it. He took moreover the richly dight shield that covered his body when he was in battle, fair to see, with 10 circles of bronze running all around it. On the body of the shield there were 20 bosses of white tin, with another of dark cyanus in the middle. This last was made to show a Gorgon's head, fierce and grim, with rout and panic on either side. The band for the arm to go through was of silver, on which there was a writhing snake of cyanus, with 3 heads that sprang from a single neck, and went in and out among one another. On his head Agamemnon set a helmet, with a peak before and behind, and 4 plumes of horsehair and nodded menacingly above it. Then he grasped 2 redoubtable bronze-shod spears, and the gleam of his armor shot from him as a flame into the firmament, while Hera and Athene thundered in honor of the king of rich Mycenae. Every man now left his horses in charge of his charioteer to hold them in readiness for the trench. While he went into battle on foot clad in full armor, and a mighty uproar rose on high into the dawning, the chiefs were armed and at the trench before the horses got there, but these came up presently. The son of Cronus sent a portent of evil sound about their host, and the Jew fell red with blood, for he was about to send many a brave man hurrying down to Hades. The Trojans on the other side, upon the rising slope of the plain, were gathered round great Hector, noble Polydamas, Aeneas, who was honoured by the Trojans like an immortal, and the 3 sons of Antenna, Polybus, Agenor, and young Acamas, beauteous as a god. Hector's round shield showed in the front rank, and as some baneful star that shines for a moment through a rent in the clouds and is again hidden beneath them, even so was Hector now seen in the front ranks and now again in the hindermost, and his bronze armour gleamed like the lightning of aegis-bearing Zeus. And now a band of reapers mow swaths of wheat or barley upon rich man's land, and the sheaves fall thick before them. Even so did the Trojans and Achaeans fall upon one another. They were in no mood for yielding, but fought like wolves, and neither side got the better of the other. Discord was glad as she beheld them, for she was the only god that went among them. The others were not there, but stayed quietly, each in his own home among the dells and valleys of Olympus. All of them blamed the son of Cronus for wanting to give victory to the Trojans, but Father Zeus heeded them not. He held aloof from all, and sat apart in his all-glorious majesty, looking down upon the city of the Trojans, the ships of the Achaeans, the gleam of bronze, and alike upon the slayers and on the slain. Now, so long as the day waxed and it was still morning, their darts rained thick on one another, and the people perished. But as the hour drew nigh when a woodman working in some mountain forest will get his midday meal, for he had felled till his hands are weary, he is tired out, and must now have food, then the Danaans, with a cry that rang through all their ranks, broke the battalions of the enemy. Agamemnon led them on, and slew first Bianor, a leader of his people, and afterwards his comrade and charioteer Aulis, who sprang from his chariot and was coming full towards him. But Agamemnon struck him on the forehead with his spear. His bronze visor was of no avail against the weapon, which pierced both bronze and bone, so that his brains were battered in, and he was killed in full fight. Agamemnon stripped their shirts from off of them, and left them with their breasts all bare to lie where they had fallen. He then went on to kill Isus and Antiphus, 2 sons of Priam, the one a bastard, the other born in wedlock. They were in the same chariot, the bastard driving, while noble Antiphus fought beside him. Achilles had once taken both of them prisoners in the glades of Ida, and had bound them with fresh wives. Withers? The fuck is that word? Wivs. Oof, it's a weird word. Fresh wivs as they were shepherding. But he had taken a ransom for them. Now, however, Agamemnon, son of Atreus, smote Isus in the chest above the nipple with his spear, while he struck Antiphus hard by the ear and threw him from his chariot. Forthwith, he stripped their goodly armour from off them and recognized them. for he had already seen them at the ships when Achilles brought them in from Ida. As a lion fastens on the fawns of a hind and crushes them in his great jaws, robbing them of their tender life while he is on his way back to his lair, the hind can do nothing for them even though she be close by, for she is in an agony of fear, and flies through the thick forest, sweating, and at her utmost speed before the mighty monster. So no man of the Trojans could help Isus and Antiphus, for they were themselves flying in panic before the Argives. Then King Agamemnon took the 2 sons of Antimachus, Pisander and brave Hippolochus. It was Antimachus who had been foremost in preventing Helen being restored to Menelaus, for he was largely bribed by Paris. And now Agamemnon took his 2 sons, both in the same chariot, trying to bring their horses to a stand, for they had lost hold of their reins, and the horses were mad with fear. The son of Atreus sprang upon them like a lion, and the pair besought him from their chariot. "Take us alive," they cried, "son of Atreus, and you shall receive a great ransom for us. Our father Antimachus has great stores of gold, bronze, and wrought iron, and from this he will satisfy you with a very large ransom should he hear of our being alive at the ships of the Achaeans." With such piteous words and tears did they beseech the king, but they heard no pitiful answer in return. "If," said Agamemnon, "you are sons of Antimachus, who once at a council of Trojans proposed that Menelaus and Odysseus, who had come to you as envoys, should be killed and not suffered to return, you shall now pay for the foul iniquity of your father." As he spoke, he felled Pisander from his chariot to the earth, smiting him on the chest with his spear, so that he lay face uppermost upon the ground. Hippolochus fled, and him too did Agamemnon smite. He cut off his hands and his head, and he sent rolling in among the crowd as though it were a ball. There he let them both lie, and wherever the ranks were thickest thither he flew, while the other Achaeans followed. Foot soldiers drove the foot soldiers of the foe in rout before them, and slew them. Horsemen did the like by horsemen, and the thundering tramp of the horses raised a cloud of dust from off the plain. King Agamemnon followed after, ever slaying them and cheering on the Achaeans. As when some mighty forest is all ablaze, the eddying gusts whirl fire in all directions till the thickets shrivel and are consumed before the blast of the flame, even so fell the heads of the flying Trojans before Agamemnon, son of Atreus, and many a noble pair of steeds drew an empty chariot along the highways of war, for lack of drivers who were lying on the plain, more useful now to vultures than to their wives. Zeus drew Hector away from the darts and dust, with the carnage and din of battle, but the son of Atreus sped onwards, calling out lustily to the Danaans. They flew on by the tomb of old Ilus, son of Dardanus, in the middle of the plain, then past the place of the wild fig tree, making always for the city, the son of Atreus still shouting, and with hands all bedrabbled in gore. But when they had reached the Scaean gates and the oak tree, there they halted and waited for the others to come up. Meanwhile, the Trojans kept on flying over the middle of the plain like a herd of cows, maddened with fright when a lion has attacked them in the dead of night. He springs on one of them, seizes her neck in the grip of his strong teeth, and then laps up her blood and gorges himself upon her entrails. Even so did King Agamemnon, son of Atreus, pursue the foe, ever slaughtering the hindmost as they fled pell-mell before him. Many a man was flung headlong from his chariot by the hand of the son of Atreus, for he wielded his spear with fury. But when he was just about to reach the high wall and the city, the father of gods and men came down from heaven and took his seat, thunderbolt in hand, upon the crest of many-fountained Ida. He then told Iris of the golden wings to carry a message for him. "Go," said he, "fleet Iris, and speak thus to Hector. Say that so long as he sees Agamemnon heading his men and making havoc of the Trojan ranks, he is to keep aloof and bid the others bear the brunt of the battle. But when Agamemnon is wounded either by spear or arrow and takes to his chariot, then will I vouchsafe him strength to slay till he reach the ships and night falls at the going down of the sun." Iris hearkened and obeyed. Down she went to strong Ilium from the crests of Ida, and found Hector, son of Priam, standing by his chariot and horses. Then she said, "Hector, son of Priam, peer of gods in council, Father Zeus has sent me to bear you this message. So long as you see Agamemnon heading his men and making havoc of the Trojan ranks, you are to keep aloof and bid the others bear the brunt of the battle. But when Agamemnon is wounded either by spear or arrow and takes to his chariot, then will Zeus vouchsafe you strength to slay till you reach the ships, until night falls at the going down of the sun." When she had thus spoken, Iris left him, and Hector sprang full armed from his chariot to the ground, brandishing his spear as he went about everywhere among the host, cheering his men on to fight, and stirring the dread strife of battle. The Trojans then wheeled around, and again met the Achaeans, while the Argives on their part strengthened their battalions. The battle was now in array, and they stood face to face with one another, Agamemnon ever pressing forward in his eagerness to be ahead of all others. Tell me now, ye muses that dwell in the mansions of Olympus, who, whether of the Trojans or of their allies, was first to face Agamemnon. It was Iphidamas, son of Antenna, a man both brave and of great stature, who was brought up in fertile Thrace, the mother of sheep. Cissus, his mother's father, brought him up in his own house when he was a child. Cissus fathered a fair Theano. When he reached manhood, Cissus would have kept them there, and was given him for his daughter for marriage, and was for giving him his daughter in marriage. But as soon as he had married, he set out to fight the Achaeans with 12 ships that followed him. These he had left to Percote and had come up on by land to Ilium. He it was that now met Agamemnon, son of Atreus. When they were close up one with another, the son of Atreus missed his aim, and Iphidamas hit him on the girdle below the cuirass, and then flung himself upon him, trusting to his strength of arm. The girdle, however, was not pierced, not nearly so, for the point of the spear struck against the silver and was turned aside as though it had been lead. King Agamemnon caught it from his hand, and drew it towards him with the fury of a lion. He then drew his sword and killed Iphidamas by striking him on the neck. So there the poor fellow lay, sleeping a sleep as it were of bronze, killed in the defence of his fellow citizens, far from his wedded wife, with whom he had no joy, though he had given much for her. He had given 100 head of cattle down, and had promised later on to give 1,000 sheep and goats mixed, from the countless flocks of which he was possessed. Agamemnon, son of Atreus, then despoiled him, and carried off his armour into the host of the Achaeans. When noble Chion, Antenna's eldest son, saw this, sore indeed were his eyes in the sight of his fallen brother. Unseen by Agamemnon, he got beside him, spear in hand, and wounded him in the middle of his arm below the elbow, the point of the spear going right through the arm. Agamemnon was convulsed with pain, but still not even for this did he leave off struggling and fighting, but grasped his spear that flew as fleet as the wind, and sprang upon Chion, who was trying to drag off the body of his brother, his father's son, by the foot, and was crying for help to all the bravest of his comrades. But Agamemnon struck him with a bronze-shod spear and killed him as he was dragging the dead body through the press of men under cover of his shield. He then cut off his head, standing over the body of Iphidamas. Thus did the sons of Antenna meet their fate at the hands of the son of Atreus, and go down into the house of Hades. As long as the blood still welled warm from his wound, Agamemnon went about attacking the ranks of the enemy with spear and sword and with great handfuls of stone. But when the blood had ceased to flow, and the wound grew dry, the pain became great. As the sharp pangs which the Elethuae, goddess of childbirth, daughters of Hera, and dispensers of cruel pain, send upon a woman when she is in labour, even so were the pangs of the son of Atreus. He sprang onto his chariot, and bade his charioteer drive to the ships, for he was in great agony. With a loud, clear voice he shouted to the Danaans, "My friends, princes and counsellors of the Argives, defend the ships yourselves, for Zeus has not suffered me to fight the whole day through against the Trojans." With this the charioteer turned his horses towards the ships, and they flew forward, nothing loath. Their chests were white with foam, and their bellies with dust, as they drew the wounded king out of the battle. When Hector saw Agamemnon quit the field, he shouted to the Trojans and Lycians, saying, "Trojans, Lycians, and Dardanian warriors, be men, my friends, and acquit yourselves in battle bravely. Their best man has left them, and Zeus has vouchsafed me a great triumph. Charge the foe with your chariots that you may win still greater glory." With these words he put heart and soul into them all, and as a huntsman hound his dogs on against a lion or a wild boar, even so did Hector, peer of Ares, hound the proud Trojans on against the Achaeans. Full of hope, he plunged in among the forest, and fell on the fight like some fierce tempest that swoops down upon the sea and lashes its deep blue waters into fury. What, then, is the full tale of those whom Hector, son of Priam, killed in the hour of triumph which Zeus then vouchsafed him? First Asaeus, Autonous, Enopides, Dolops, son of Clydius, Ophileus, and Agalius, Asimnus, Orus, and Hippodonius, steadfast in battle. These chieftains of the Achaeans did Hector slay, and then he fell upon the rank and file, as when the west wind hustles the clouds of the white south and beats them down with the fierceness of its fury, the waves of the sea roll high, and the spray is flung aloft in the rage of the wandering wind, even so thick were the hands of them that fell by the hand of Hector. All had then been lost, and no help for it, and the Achaeans would have fled pell-mell to their ships, had not Odysseus cried out to Diomed, "Son of Tydeus, what has happened to us, that we thus forgot our prowess? Come, my good fellow, stand by my side and help me. We shall be shamed forever if Hector takes the ships." And Diomed answered, "Come what may, I will stand firm, but we shall have scant joy of it, for Zeus is minded to give victory to the Trojans rather than to us." With these words he struck Thymbraeus from his chariot to the ground, smiting him in the left breast with his spear, while Odysseus killed Molion, who was his squire. These they let lie. Now that they had stopped their fighting, the two heroes then went on playing havoc with the foe, like two wild boars that turn in fury and rend their hounds to hunt them. Thus did they turn upon the Trojans and slay them, and the Achaeans were thankful to have breathing time in their flight from Hector. They then took two princes with their chariot, the two sons of Merops of Percote, who excelled all others in the arts of divination. He had forbidden his sons to go to the war, but they would not obey him, for fate lured them to their fall. Diomed, son of Tydeus, slew them both and stripped them of their armor, while Odysseus killed Hippodamus and Hyperochus. I don't know. And now the son of Cronus, as he looked down from Ida, ordained that neither side should take the advantage, and they kept on killing one another. The son of Tydeus speared Agastrophus, son of Paeon, in the hip joint with his spear. His chariot was not at hand for him to fly with, so blindly confident had he been. His squire was in charge of it at some distance, and he was fighting on foot among the foremost until he lost his life. Hector soon marked the havoc Diomed and Odysseus were making, and bore down upon them with a loud cry, followed by the Trojan ranks. Brave Diomed was dismayed when he saw them, and said to Odysseus, who was beside him, "Great Hector is bearing down upon us, and we shall be undone. Let us stand firm and wait his onset." He poised his spear as he spoke and hurled it, nor did he miss his mark. He had aimed at Hector's head near the top of his helmet, but bronze was turned by bronze, and Hector was untouched, for the spear was stayed by the visored helm made with 3 plates of metal, which Phoebus Apollo had given him. Hector sprang back with a great bound under cover of the ranks. He fell on his knees and propped himself with his brawny head leaning on the ground, for darkness had fallen on his eyes. The son of Tydeus, having thrown his spear, dashed in among the foremost fighters to the place where he had seen it strike the ground. Meanwhile Hector recovered himself, and springing back into his chariot mingled with the crowd, by which means he saved his life. But Diomed made at him with his spear and said, "Dog, you have again got away though death was close on your heels. Phoebus Apollo, to whom I ween you pray you go into battle, has again saved you. Nevertheless I will meet you and make an end of you hereafter, if there is any god who will stand by me too and be my helper. For the present I must pursue those whom I can lay hands on." As he spoke, he began stripping the spoils from the son of Paeon, but Paris, husband of lovely Helen, aimed an arrow at him, leaning against a pillar of the monument which men had raised to Ilus, son of Dardanus, a ruler in days of old. Diomed had taken the cuirass from off the breast of Agastrophus, his heavy helmet also, and the shield from off his shoulders, when Paris drew his bow and let fly an arrow that sped not from his hand in vain, but pierced the flat of Diomed's right foot, going right through it and fixing itself in the ground. Thereon Paris, with a hearty laugh, sprang forward from his hiding place, and taunted him, saying, "You are wounded. My arrow has been shot in vain. My arrow has not been shot in vain. Would that it had hit you in the belly and killed you, for thus the Trojans, who fear you as goats fear a lion, would have had a truce from evil." Diomed, all undaunted, answered, "Archer, you, who without your bow are nothing, slanderer and seducer, if you were to be tried in single combat, fighting in full armour, your bow and your arrows would serve you in little stead. Yeah. I can't read anymore. Ugh, vain is your boast, in that you have scratched the sole of my foot. I care no more than if a girl or some silly boy had hit me. A worthless coward can inflict but a light wound. When I wound a man, though I but graze his skin, it is another matter, for my weapon will lay him low. His wife will tear her cheeks for grief, and his children will be fatherless. There will he rot, reddening the earth with his blood, and vultures, not women, will gather round him. Thus he spoke, but Odysseus came up and stood over him. Under this cover he sat down to draw the arrow from his foot, and sharp was the pain he suffered as he did so. Then he sprang onto his chariot, and bade the charioteer drive him to the ships, for he was sick at heart. Odysseus was now alone. Not one of the Argives stood by him, for they were all panic-stricken. Alas, said he to himself in his dismay, what will become of me? It is ill if I turn and fly before these odds, but it will be worse if I am left alone and taken prisoner, for the son of Cronus has struck the rest of the Danaans with panic. But why talk to myself in this way? Well do I know that though cowards quit the field, a hero, whether he wound or be wounded, must stand firm and hold his own. While he was thus in two minds, the ranks of the Trojans advanced and hemmed him in, and bitterly did they come to rue it, as hounds and lusty youths set upon a wild boar that sallies from his lair whetting his white tusks. They attack him from every side and can hear the gnashing of his jaws, but for all fierceness they still hold their ground. Even so furiously did the Trojans attack Odysseus. First he sprang spear in hand upon Diopides, and wounded him on the shoulder with a downward blow. Then he killed Thun and Ennomus. After these he struck Cheristamus in the loins under his shield as he had just sprung down from his chariot, so he fell on the dust and clutched the earth in the hollow of his hand. These he let lie, and went on to wound Charopus, son of Hippasus, own brother to noble Socus. Socus, hero that he was, made all speed to help him, and when he was close to Odysseus, he said, far-famed Odysseus, insatiable of craft and toil, this day you shall either boast of having killed both the sons of Hipposaeus and stripped them of their armor, or you shall fall before my spear. Pushtab, what's going on? What is that flag? I don't know. With these words he struck the shield of Odysseus. The spear went through the shield and passed on through his richly wrought cuirass, tearing the flesh from his side. But Pallas Athene did not suffer it to pierce the entrails of the hero. Odysseus knew that his hour was not yet come, but he gave ground and said to Socus, Wretch, you shall now surely die. You have stayed me from fighting further with the Trojans, but you shall now fall by my spear, yielding glory to myself, and your soul to Hades with the noble steeds. It's your flag. You gotta try again. The Australian flag looks different to that. It might be your flag. Keep looking. Socus had turned in flight, but as he did so, the spear struck him in the back midway between the shoulders and went right through his chest. He fell heavily to the ground, and Odysseus vaunted over him, saying, O Socus, son of Hippasus, tamer of horses, death has been too quick for you, and you have not escaped him. Poor wretch, not even in death shall your father and mother close your eyes, but the ravening vultures shall enshroud you with the flapping of their dark wings and devour you, whereas even though I fall, the Achaeans will give me my due rites of burial. So saying, he drew the Socus's heavy spear out of his flesh and from his shield, and the blood welled forth when the spear was withdrawn, so that he was much dismayed. When the Trojans saw that Odysseus was bleeding, they raised a great shout and came on in a body towards him. He therefore gave ground and called his comrades to come and help him. Thrice did he cry as loudly as man can cry, and thrice did brave Menelaus hear him. He turned, therefore, to Ajax, who was close beside him, and said, Ajax, noble son of Telamon, captain of your people, the cry of Odysseus rings in my ears, as though the Trojans had cut him off and were worsening him, while he was single-handed. Let us make our way through the throng. It will be well that we defend him. I fear he may come to harm for all his valour if he be left without support, and the Danaans would miss him sorely. Those are some beautiful hearts. Why are you looking so what today?
Just kidding. I said fluffy, but...
Because my wife decided she would, blow dry my hair. And I couldn't escape. I could not escape. I wasn't willing to attack her to get her away. She was relentless. He led the way, and mighty Ajax went with him. The Trojans had gathered round Odysseus like ravenous mountain jackals round the carcass of some horned stag that had been hit with an arrow. The stag has fled at full speed, so long as his blood was warm and his strength has lasted. But when the arrow has overcome him, the savage jackals devour him in the shady glades of the forest. Then heaven sends a fierce lion thither, whereon the jackals fly in terror, and the lion robs them of their prey. Even so did the Trojans, many and brave, gather round crafty Odysseus, but the hero stood at bay and kept them off with his spear. Ajax then came up with his shield before him like a wall and stood hard by, whereon the Trojans fled in all directions. Menelaus took Odysseus by the hand and led him out of the press while his squire brought up his chariot. But Ajax rushed furiously on the Trojans and killed Doricleus, a bastard son of Priam. Then he wounded Pandocus, Lysandrus, Pyrasus, and Pylades, as some swollen torrent coming rushing in full flood from the mountains onto the plain, big with the rain of heaven. Many a dry oak and many a pine does it engulf, and much mud does it bring down and cast into the sea. Even so did brave Ajax chase the foe furiously over the plain, slaying both men and horses. What's this? What do you guys do in free time? I don't know. We don't really have free time. We watch some Dragon Ball. What do we do in free time?
I read books.
Yeah.
Exercise.
Yeah, reading, exercise.
Paint.
Painting.
Playing with the kids. Cleaning.
Yeah.
Cooking.
Kids, cleaning, cooking. Yeah. I don't know if that's free time. Yeah, the reading is, yeah. A lot of reading. I only read on the stream. I read enough. 30 minutes is enough on you. Unless it's something really, really good.
Just don't get your painting wet.
I got a painting. I'll show you after. I was going to do a painting on the stream. Just to mix it up. What do you do, Kushtab? Pretty old things. Tell me new things. I'm an old man. There's not much to it. I'll show you a painting soon. Give me 4 minutes to read this and I'll show you this painting. I was going to do one on the stream. Haven't done that yet. He fled the way, and mighty Ajax went with him. The Trojans had gathered around it. I don't know, I just fucking read that. Hector did not yet know what Ajax was doing, for he was fighting on the extreme left of the battle by the banks of the river Scamander, where the carnage was thickest and the war cry loudest round Nestor and brave Idomeneus. Among these, Hector was making great slaughter with his spear and furious driving, and was destroying the ranks that were opposed to him. Still the Achaeans would have given no ground, had not Paris, husband of lovely Helen, stayed the prowess of Machaon, shepherd of his people, by wounding him in the right shoulder with a triple barbed arrow. The Achaeans were in great fear that as the fight had turned against them, the Trojans might take him prisoner, and Idomeneus said to Nestor, Nestor, son of Neleus, honour to the Achaean name, mount your chariot at once, take Machaon with you, and drive your horses to the ships as fast as you can. A physician is worth more than several other men put together, for he can cut out arrows and spread healing herbs. Nestor, knight of Gerene, did as Idomeneus had counselled. He at once mounted his chariot, and Machaon, son of the famed physician Asclepius, went with him. He lashed his horses, and they flew onward, nothing loath towards the ships, as though of their own free will. You guys pretty old, so how does Hitler look in real life? What the fuck? That's such a wild thing to say. He said, we're pretty old. How does Hitler look in real life? Like I'm that old.
They're calling you Hitler.
I don't know. I've been around since Cain and Abel. Been around since then. The beginning of time. I am Adam. Not really, obviously. But yeah. Pretty old. Pretty old. Then Cebriones, seeing the Trojans in confusion, said to Hector from his place beside him, Hector, here are we, two fighting on the extreme wing of the battle, while the other Trojans are in pell-mell rout, they and their horses. Ajax, son of Telamon, is driving them before him. I know him by the breadth of his shield. Let us turn our chariot Turn our chariot and horses thither, where horse and foot are fighting most desperately, and where the cry of battle is loudest. With this he lashed his goodly steeds, and when they felt the whip, they drew the chariot full speed among the Achaeans and Trojans. Over the bodies and shields of those that had fallen, the axle was bespattered with blood, and the rail around the car was covered with splashes both from the horses' hooves and from the tires of the wheels. Hector tore his way through and flung himself into the thick of the fight, and his presence threw the Danaans into confusion, for his spear was not long idle. Nevertheless, though he went among the ranks with sword and spear and throwing great stones, he avoided Ajax, son of Telamon, for Zeus would have been angry with him if he had fought a better man than himself. Then Father Zeus, from his high throne, struck fear into the heart of Ajax, so that he stood there dazed and threw his shield behind him, looking fearfully at the throng of his throes as though he were some wild beast, and turning hither and thither but crouching slowly backwards, as peasants with their hounds chase a lion from their stockyard and watch by night to prevent his carrying off the pick of their herd. He makes his greedy spring, but in vain, for the darts from many a strong hand fall thick around him, with burning brands that scare him for all his fury, and when morning comes he slinks foiled and angry away. Even so did Ajax, sorely against his will, retreat angrily before the Trojans, fearing for the ships of the Achaeans, or as some lazy ass that has had many a cudgel broken about his back. When he gets into a field, begins eating the corn. Boys beat him, but he is too many for them, and though they lay about with their sticks, they cannot hurt him. Still, when he had had his fill at last, drive him from the field. Even so did the Trojans and their allies pursue great Ajax, ever smiting the middle of his shield with their darts. Now and again he would turn and show fight, keeping back the battalions of the Trojans, and then he would again retreat, but he prevented any of them from making his way to the ships. Single-handed he stood midway between the Trojans and the Achaeans. The spears that sped from their hands struck some of them in his mighty shield, while many, though thirsting for his blood, fell to the ground ere that they could reach him to the wounding of his fair flesh. Oh, yes. You have real life friends. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. I do have some, yeah. I do. Not many. Not many. They're usually gym bros, to be honest. Yeah, I've got friends. I've got very few friends. Not many. There we go. I'll show you this thing, mate. We got this. We're going to be painting this. Son Goku. On this piece of canvas right here. I don't know how we're going to do it. I haven't painted since I was about 10 years old. But there's only one way to find out. Like I said, I don't really give a shit about anyone, though, to be honest. Like, he's not part of my mission. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain. Like, I'm starting to lose my mind, Kushtab. You know what I mean? I'm so determined to meet all my goals that I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to go, I really am going crazy. You know what I mean? Every day, all I'm thinking about is how do I succeed in doing this? And how do I succeed doing that? How do I, like, make more money doing this? How do I, like, build my business there? How do I learn more in this route? How do I fucking, you know, like, make this plan happen and this plan happen? I just don't stop and I'm going insane. You know what I mean?
What?
Like, how do I tick off every single goal that I got?
Usually with a pen.
No, I don't. I cross it off.
Persistence, I guess.
You are tough as fuck. No, not yet, I'm not.
Who said that? Kush.
Gustav.
Kus.
Why do you say that?
Kus.
Mentally, I'm tough. Physically, I got work to do.
You just fed well.
I'll give you some news. I've reached out to the mixed martial arts place now. David Goggins from AliExpress. From AliExpress. Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. I'm going to begin MMA training like as soon as I can. I've already reached out to this place. So I won't be going to my main gym anymore. I'm going to cancel that and go to the MMA gym. Get down, mate. Up. Come on. Down. Don't do it. I thought, why wait till the end of the 1,000 days to do it? Where is this? There. Bro, you are 30 now. This age is retirement age. Go one day and get retirement next day. Not quite, mate. I'm still young. Still young enough to get shit done. 40. I want to retire by 40. I got 10 years, well, 11 years. 10 and a half years now. I got that much time. Plenty of time. Especially at the speed that I move. Or do you want to be like Michael Chandler? No, not in fighting. No. No. This is my goal with the fighting, yeah? With the MMA. I'm going to get into a professional fight one way or another. And I'll stop when I lose. Which would be funny if it's the first fight. But at least I'll say that I've done it, you know? I'm not scared to get in there. I don't even give a shit if I lose. It's just to say at least I fucking hell. Press the wrong button. Give it a minute.
What happened?
I pressed the wrong button.
Restarted the timer.
I was only like 2 minutes in anyway.
Just talk for 2 minutes.
But yeah. I want to get in there by like 35, 34, 35. That gives me like 4 or 5 years to train. I'll know when I'm ready. Bro, I'm always going to be younger than you. You can't beat me. Any possibility. I'd beat you even as an old man, mate. I'd beat you with my eyes shut. That'd be so easy. There's different leagues to it, mate. You'd be dreaming if you think you could ever beat me. But if you grab me, I'm going to do like Michael Morales stuff. Michael Morales. You're very funny, Kushtad. Oh, I like you too, Kushtad. Don't worry about that. So what did you get up to today anyway? What have you been doing? You are funny. Sometimes I'm funny. Yeah. You wouldn't believe it. Depends what mood I'm in. What you doing?
Drinking water.
It's good. What makes you think that? Because people are always laughing. People love being around me. People are always laughing. It's a bit awkward on a stream. It's not the same timing and sense on a stream. Especially when I'm just reading and writing. And having general chats. But when I'm actually out and about, people are always laughing. That's how I know.
No.
It's got it. My father's funny. My grandfather's funny. Every male in my family is funny.
Even your son.
Even my son, yeah.
He is quite funny.
Who? Everyone. people at the gym, my wife, people at the school, everywhere I go. Everyone I talk to, the cashiers, just the workers that I speak to, everyone in every shop that I go to. All the people. And except for like crazy drug addicts and crazy people. Except for Karens. Only Karens and assholes and stupid people don't think I'm funny. I've noticed that. If something's wrong with you, you'll think I'm not funny. Or if you've got like a retardation or something. Crack a joke. I don't tell jokes, mate. I don't do jokes. I just say funny stuff here and then. Like I said, this is working time, mate. And you need to be in front of me. It's weird. I do better when people are actually talking to me. Off the cuff. It's awkward when you're just speaking to someone, I guess, like, online. It's a bit different. People online don't think I'm funny, yeah. I'll do that. Because it doesn't come across the same way. I'm better with a live audience. Like a proper audience. I don't know, I guess I'm in a competitive mood, Kushtad. I've become really... Because this is the time of the day where I tend to get serious. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure you mean it. I can tell the sincerity. It's seeping through. But, yeah, I'll admit, towards the end of the day, I start going into my own head. And that's not such a funny place. You gotta wait till I'm stoned, yeah? Then again, maybe I think everything's funny. You'll have to wait another 900 and... a long time. Another 900 odd days. Maybe when I'm drinking. We'll see how you laugh then. Don't worry, it's just around the corner. Do you have anxiety problem? I used to have one. Not anymore. Do you get it? Like I said, I don't know. I think part of it was just the weed. Either way, I won't have too much more like anxiety. We'll see once the training starts. Yeah. Is it social? I don't know. I'm guessing social. You don't? No anxiety? Did you ever used to have it? Once upon a time? Nah, never. Oh, well. That's pretty rare. A lot of people get anxiety. Like I said, mine was just like social and stuff, like, you know. I don't know what it came from. Sometimes you just get it. Bullying, I think. That'll give it to you. But ain't no one bullying me anymore. But even then, it was just like, I don't know, sometimes you just go to a new place and it would just kick in. It was really weird. I don't know. It's good. It's a good way to be. I'm usually like that, but when you go into a state of obsession, it kind of makes you a little bit more serious. Who's more funny, me or Queen? Usually I am. On stream, though, Queen can be quite funny. But no, she could be funny. She could be pretty funny. You'd have to see it. Like if I ever do videos where you sort of just see me in my natural element, this isn't natural sitting in front of a camera like this, you know, reading and writing. This is not a normal thing to do. This is very strange behavior. It's very strange to do a 1,000-day challenge. It's very strange to do half the shit that I do. That's why I said, as I get closer, as more gets accomplished, I'll start to ease up a little bit. So yeah, I can be pretty boring at night time. No, I don't have any pains. I don't get that. Why would my knees be in pain? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I be in pain? I look after myself, mate. I'm always exercising. I'm always walking around my vest. I'm always doing something. "29, nearly 30. You're in like the prime of your life, man, when you're like 30 years old. You feel old, and yet you're not really old. Like I said, I think your prime is between like when can you do your absolute best? It's probably between like 26 and depending how sharp you are, it's between 26 and like 34. Those are probably the best years of your life. Once you get to like 35, I reckon it starts to seriously drop. It depends on the person, but it's around there. Some people be less, some people be more. Not in the grand scheme of things. You're like halfway there. Old is like, I don't know, 35 plus. Yeah, see, that's what you think. Like, that's what I said. That's why I want to get to like at least have one fight while I'm still in the still in my prime. But I'll be right at the end of it. But I don't give a shit. It is what it is. At least I can say I did it. How many people jump in a cage and are willing to fight? But I've always wanted to do that. 28 to 32, though, that's right around. That's why I said I reckon really it's like 26 to that's if you're training young. Like if you've been training all the time, it'd be between 26 and 34. I reckon it's like 8 years. Those are the best 8 years. You're physically like probably at your absolute best. So it's probably like smack bang 30. 30 is probably like right in the middle of all these numbers. Everyone thinks 30 is old, but 30 you're right in the prime. You're not in your youth. Like that's what it is. People think like old as in face. Yeah, you're right. I would blow you up like a nuclear weapon. It'd be crazy. I don't reckon the fight would last like 20 seconds. I'd just pick you apart. Bang. I'd feel sorry for you in a way. I really would, because you have no idea what it's like to come up against like someone who's like as determined as I am. Hmm. Then I'll use that against you. You gotta do it again. I'm gonna do your face like Ilya. You wish, mate. I'm gonna do your face like Aldo. Because I don't want to really hurt you, mate. I just want to put you out of your misery real quick. Nice. Just quick light touch, light tap, precision. Pop. 99. I'll take one shot over like 500 shots that don't do anything. Either that or I'll protect your face completely. And like you'll be like Matt Serra in the second fight with GSP. Knees to the body. That way your face is still looking pretty. I'll take care of you. I'll look after you so good. You'll be like, thank you for leaving my face alone. Thank you for making it quick. Oh, you're such a kind man. That's what you'll say. Like, you'll be so thankful. It'll be unbelievable. And I'll say, you're welcome, Kushtad. You're welcome. I'm such a great guy and I care for you so much. I don't really want to hurt you. What, like a crackhead? Like a crazy Hispanic, like, man who talks to himself on fentanyl. Is that how you're built? Unbreakable. Sure, bro. You'll be like Tony Ferguson against Michael Chandler then. Look at that face. Yeah, Ilya, fucking hell. And that fight was his to win too, you know? Like, if he just finished Gaethje off with those liver shots. But Gaethje's a tough son of a gun. You know how it is. You know what Gaethje's like. He's one of those guys, if you hit him with a good shot and you put him in pain, he's got this dog-like instinct where he's able to dig super deep and he fucking tries to kill you. Like, it's weird. If you hurt him, you have to be prepared for this initial flurry to come back at you. Because he won't let you finish him off. Like, you either put him to sleep completely or you've got to weather the fucking storm that is him when he's hurt. Like, there was only a few times where he could have been finished off where he was, like, really rocked and running away and he should have been chased. But even then, if you get anywhere near him, he's like a cornered rat and he will strike you back. That's just the way it works. A man like that doesn't go down very easily. A man like that who has trained himself to go into that dark place, like you said, I've listened to him say it a million times. He really is that guy. Wouldn't get down shot of Justin. I get orgasm that time. What do you mean? The liver shot. I want to see Ilya lose like this. What you want to see Ilya lose? It's like a dream come true. Yeah, I know. Like that guy. I wonder if that guy really did put $1 million on him because he was so relaxed. I thought, oh no, he's gonna win, and he had his chances, but Gaethje, like, did you see that when Gaethje first hit him with the uppercut? How he went from this, because Gaethje, I mean, what's his face? Ilya's got a style where he keeps his hands here. And then as soon as Gaethje hit him in that eye, he was like that. He was covering his eye. And he was trying to protect it. And he was like touching it as it was like, because it was bleeding and already swollen. And he was already in the midst of it. That was incredible. I was like, look at that. The first uppercuts hurt him. It was like straight away. He's covering his face. And then, like I said, he's so quick and dangerous, Ilya, that he just couldn't finish the job. I think, like I said, I knew it'd be I thought it was 50-50, really, because of Gaethje's style. I thought Gaethje will either get clean knocked out, or he's going to be super tough to deal with, and he was super tough to deal with. And like he said at the end of the fight, he needs to be studied. Because that fucker didn't look like he was even in a war. No, I paid for it, so it was on my big screen, nice, clear quality. It was great. I paid, I don't know, what was it? 59, was it? Yeah. I know you could probably get it for free, but I don't know how to do that. Nobody ever tells me, so I don't believe them. Everyone's full of shit. Yeah, 59. Yep. Had that. Had some pizza. Had some food.
Not takeaway pizza.
Not takeaway either. It was like homemade pizza. No, I was happy. I made what? I put mushrooms on it. Put some tomatoes on it. I put the mozzarella cheese, grated that. We made our own base. Well, one of them was like that. That was from the day before. You got scammed. Yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be $59. There's a reason I don't pay for fights usually. Alrighty. All done. Alrighty, Gustav. Thanks for stopping by, bro. I appreciate it. I'm gonna get some rest. Gotta get my beauty sleep in there. Gotta keep on rocking and rolling. You stay magnificent, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate it. Good luck with your day. What's this in India to watch UFC? Needs to pay 79 rupees, like 84 cents. Yeah. That's because you guys don't earn too much money, so everything's cheap. We established that. It's a weird system. But that's kind of the way it should be. You know, that's the way it used to be. Yeah, we didn't earn as much, but your money went a lot further. It is what it is. No wonder you guys come over here. No wonder Indian people come over here, because, like, you know, even if they're getting paid, like, way less than what you need to really, like, sustain and grow here, you can just send that money back and live rich back home in the motherland. That's how it works, I guess. But anyway, can't blame people for taking advantage of Australia's stupidity. You stay magnificent, Kushtub. All the best, my friend. Hope you have a great day. And, yeah, till the next time. Bye-bye.